Hello everyone, my name is Nobody, and I'm going to be casting a 1 versus 1, looks like Serengeti game between Nicov down here in blue as the Taters, and in red we have MBL playing as the Berbers. So both these players are high-level pro players that we've probably seen a lot of before on this channel, unless you're new. And yeah, these civilizations, I haven't seen too much of the new civilizations, so this will be pretty fun. The Berbers I'm familiar with. So the Berbers are a cavalry-heavy civilization. All their light cavalry, camels, and knights are discounted in the Castle and Imperial Age, and their villagers move faster as well. So those are going to be two very good bonuses for them. Their unique unit is the Camel Archer, which has anti-cavalry archer attack bonuses, but is also a very strong unit in general. And their other unique unit is the Genitor, which is a mounted skirmisher. So a very mobile civilization, and that should play very well on a very open map such as Serengeti. Nicov playing as the Taters. The Taters are also a very cavalry-heavy civilization. However, they play more like the Huns or the Magyars in that they're very cavalry archer-focused and light cavalry-focused. So their cavalry archers, all units will be doing 25% more damage on top of hills. There are a few hills here, but that really works for cavalry archers' favor. They get Thumb Ring and Parthian tactics for free, again helping their cavalry archers. And I believe that their herdables last 15% longer, giving them a good early game. Their unique unit, probably won't see them, but it's a pretty strong cavalry unit, I think, called the Lightus, which ignores armor. And their light cavalry is pretty strong as well, and they get access to the Steppe Lancer, which is basically like a mix between like a light cavalry and a knight, if that mix between the units had one extra range. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting civilization. Both these civilizations are super aggressive, and that really bodes well for this kind of map. But the difference is that the Berbers are definitely going to be more focused on knights, light cavalry, and camels, whereas the Tatars are going to probably be more focused on the cavalry archers. Although the having the Genitor and having the camel archer is certainly a nice thing that maybe the Berbers will heavily rely on. Both players luring in the zebras. Sometimes you get zebras, sometimes you get ostriches. That's very important on Serengeti because this is an unforgiving map where you don't really have that much food. Your wood lines are very sparse, so you need to make use out of every resource that this map gives to you. Taking a look at the map, MBL's got this wood line in the front. Remember, all the wood lines tend to have tons of holes, so they're not very good for walling. We have a gold in the stone on this bottom right side. It's very exposed. We have MBL starting off a wall there, but as you can see, this wall goes nowhere because Serengeti is such an open map. This gold is pretty exposed. There's not a lot of wood on these wood lines. This is as good as it gets for Serengeti. Nicov with a forward berries and a forward lumber camp. That's pretty nasty with these villagers kind of trapped in there. Has a wood line in the back. Has two safe golds, though. Relatively safe golds close to the town center. And the stone is kind of close to the town center as well, although it is forward. Two more stones in the back. So I'm not sure whose map I would prefer, but either way, this is going to be a very aggressive matchup, and things can swing very quickly because these resources and these villagers are so exposed. Nicov clicking Loom, and he's going to go up to the Feudal Age on, oh my gosh, 18 population? In fact, MBL's already up to the next age. MBL's clicked up on 18, Nicov clicking up on 19. That is a very solid build, especially because MBL doesn't really get any economy bonuses as the Berbers. So these zebra and these huntable food sources really helped with these players going up to the next stage very quickly. But the downside to this, of course, is that both players have next to no scouting. They don't even know where their opponent is or what kind of strategies they'll go for. But it's a pretty sure bet that both players will probably go for scouts. Barracks coming up from both players, again indicating that a stable will be on the way pretty soon. And this should be a pretty entertaining scout battle going into the early to mid feudal age. Oftentimes we see a little bit more men-at-arms, a little bit more militia and archers, so it's going to be nice to watch a good old-fashioned scout battle. Both these civilizations, again, are just pretty interesting with scouts. I don't think the Berbers get any bonuses quite yet, but it'll be a good transition to knights and light cavalry in the Castle Age if they go scouts now. And the Taters will get an attack bonus if they attack downhill with their scouts. So that makes for some interesting micromanagement. MBL building the stable on the left side. Gonna keep working on that wall, but he's got quite a bit of way to go. Stables will be up at around the same time. And there's still plenty of herdable food income for Nicov, as again, his goats are going to last 50% longer due to a civilization bonus. Both wood lines are on the left there for Nicov. Nicov trying to wall off the berries in the wood a little bit. Should be able to finish up right there. And might be able to finish up right there as well. Yeah, I hate when that happens. But that's going to be a great wall for Nicov because that is going to help to secure that left side of the base if it goes up. MBL seeing that wall going to go up. Nicov going to put another villager out over there to make sure that it goes up in time. Surprisingly, no spearmen out yet for Nicov. We have an aggressive spear coming forward for MBL. Let's see who's going to make the first move. Looks like MBL is going to be the aggressor, staying with open walls and coming forward with a bunch of villagers while Nicov is going to just try to wall and be defensive. I think this kind of reflects the player's play style. Nicov is definitely a more defensive player, while MBL can sometimes be very aggressive. And might even tower the berries. Normally, the berries would be very important for an early scout rush, especially on Serengeti. But with this extra herdable food income, the berries are not that important. But what is important is that this stable might be able to get battered down by the villagers if a tower goes there. And so far, no reaction from Nicov. He's staying very cool. Oh, nope. He's just a little bit slow as this tower is going to go up. Or will it? Actually, it might not. Oh, this is going to be nasty for Nicov if MBL's paying attention. This villager will definitely go down if he keeps trying to build that tower. This villager will get low as well. MBL could have came in with the scouts, but that's not going to happen. So the stable will stay up for now, but the berries are now not usable. And MBL already has enough stone for another tower. Let's see if Nicov is going to try to come in. Has 3 scouts, but there's 3 scouts, and these 3 spearmen make life really difficult, especially if they're fighting Nicov scouts. Looks like Nicov wanted to try to rush that tower down, but again, a slow reaction from Nicov. You have to be very fast, very reactive when you see towers going up next to you. So far, a successful tower rush from MBL. That's going to take away 3 farms, it looks like, maybe even this 4th farm. Top tower going down, but this is really a much more important tower. This next tower will take away 1 more farm, but more importantly, it will take away this wood line and these 2 golds. And this is making good use out of the Berbers bonus as well. These villagers were able to move across the map faster. I like the position of this tower from Nicov, but it doesn't do anything to help secure this wood line and this gold that's already been taken away. And the question is, where is Nicov going to get gold from? Nicov has stone, but the closest gold is right there. If Nicov can get this wall up, it'll stop the tower aggression for now. Let's see what MBL's next move is going to be. Is he going to move around to this gold? This gold is so important for Nicov. If he loses this gold, he could lose the game. Another tower going down in the same area, which should be able to take away maybe 2 more farms. Let's go over to MBL's point of view. He sees the gold. And I think MBL is kind of dilly-dallying a little bit. I think you should go straight over to that gold and try to wall it in or something. But that doesn't seem to be the plan quite yet. Oh, and that tower went down. So this was a great tower position from Nicov. That tower was in precisely the right place to be able to engage the other tower. And MBL is going to place that tower right there. That's going to be one villager down for Nicov. I think this is the first villager to die this game. Maybe, yeah, I think the first one. So it's very important that MBL walls this tower in. And we see that nowadays from players now that the tower HP is significantly lower. But a little bit of idle time from MBL. MBL back at home has a pretty good food economy. Looks like there's 3 scouts looking for some villager kills. I don't see any skeletons. Oh! Spearman's going to get a few hits. What is this villager doing? Nikov's going to try the same trick that he did with this tower. Any skeletons? No skeletons that I see. And this tower is just going to go up. So we have 2 towers within range of this one tower. So this tower will be pretty useless. These scouts are really looking for some villagers to kill. And there we go. Nikov's going to go over to that gold. I don't know why MBL didn't try to wall that gold in. And MBL has quite a bit of idle time with these villagers. 5 villagers are idle. And MBL's mining quite a bit of gold as well. MBL's economy is going to get pretty messy. I think he's got way too much gold coming in, and then these 5 idle villagers. So has this tower rush done enough damage? I don't think it has. I think it was pretty close to good gaming Nicov, but without getting that extra gold, these towers in the front don't mean as much as they possibly could have. Let's see if MBL is going to be able to pick off a villager. Oh, that one went down really quickly. This one's going to go down as well, as Nicov is going to be slow to react. This scout decided to be a pacifist for some reason. And so did this one. But 2 villagers going down. That'll help even out the economy. So right now it looks like MBL has a slight villager advantage. It's 44-44, but we have Wheelbarrow coming in late for Nicov. Pretty typical. And as I mentioned before, MBL's got way too much gold income coming in. He's now sitting at 600 gold. But he's going to build the market and probably, I don't know, do something with that gold. And now MBL just going to chop that wood over there. So it would have made more sense to be able to steal the gold, and that would be less gold available to Nicov in the late game, but obviously MBL doesn't need any more gold. And there we go. Nikov's going to go up to the next sage. So slight advantage for MBL. I think this castle age time is very important. And expected MBL is going to go straight knights here, and this could be extremely powerful. There's a lot of towers in Nikov's base, however, and it's mostly walled. So the target is going to be this gold. And really, just if MBL can just flood this one gold, I don't know how Nicov is going to be able to defend himself. Unless he goes and batters down these towers. Meanwhile, Nikov's army composition, is it going to be pikemen? I don't see any archery ranges. Another thing to think about is, since MBL has been mining so much stone, might be thinking about a castle for camel archers will be a good late game play. But right now, I think it might be pikemen for Nicov, and he needs to make pikemen. He needs to defend that gold at all costs. But where's the aggression going to come from Nicov? Maybe he's just going to boom it out. This is not a good map to boom it out on. So here we go, Castle Age. We have knights with bloodlines coming out, and they're discounted. Fletching. Oh my gosh, fletching coming in. Oh, for the towers, of course. But you want fletching right now? I would think you'd want like another cavalry attack or an armor right now. Unless MBL doesn't think he's going to be able to take over this gold. So here we go. 2 knights coming out. We should have another 2 being queued up. And there's a castle for Nicov. Nicov is, in fact, going to try to make his unique unit as his main army. But these scouts have some good upgrades. They should be able to get some kills. All of the spearmen are defending that gold. There's no spearmen in the base for Nicov. And we're going to see how this... Oh, there's the castle. Oh my gosh. We're going to see how Nikov's unique unit does. I don't think we'll see the... Maybe he's going to go claiming camels. And this is such a great castle position. Again, these 2 golds are locked down. So here we go, Keshiks. Keshiks, I think, are a pretty underrated unit. They're, if you think of their, them ignoring armor, or maybe that's the lightest. Sorry, that's the lightest. So Keshiks generate gold when they attack. So they're pretty cost efficient for that reason. Good engagement by the pikemen on top of the knights. But there's not enough pikemen, as there needs to be some pikemen back at home. This knight knows what's going to go on, and he's going to go home to defend, but it's 1 knight versus 3. Somehow Nicov has the score lead. He's definitely not in a good position this game, in my opinion. And Nicov is going to go all in. He's going to try to take down that castle. So if he succeeds, then great. If he doesn't succeed, that's going to be a lot of wasted resources. In fact, he's very confident. Going to go out with 1 ram right away. Usually you try to store them up for until you have 2 or 3. Town center coming down here as well. This is big. Nicov could be getting a town center on his gold, and he could be taking out a castle of MBL, a castle which is so important, especially because MBL wants to be making camel archers. And we didn't see anything to defend it from a ram push. We didn't see a siege workshop in mangonels. We didn't see petards. Would even be something to be able to defend from rams. And these Keshiks, they're very, yeah, they're very good, even without a lot of upgrades. Now we see some camels coming out from MBL. I'm really enjoying seeing these army compositions. This is quite unique. I've never seen anything like this game. It's a good showcase of these civilizations, in my opinion. 3 town centers now for MBL. MBL currently has a 3 villager advantage and has 1 extra town center. However, Nicov does have the castle. Monastery coming up to get some relics and to try to convert a lot of these units. There's MBL going. So it could be a good place to build a town center. Obtain early map control. And now Nikov's able to regain control of these other golds. So very nice defense from Nicov, defending the gold there. Eventually taking care of the situation. And I said before I liked MBL's position. Now I'm really liking Nikov's position. But the good thing for MBL should have a stronger economy, and his military. He's got a lot of options between camels, light cavalry, and knights, and they're all going to be pretty cheap. One thing MBL never accomplished, he never was able to finish that wall. This might be a good time of the game to try to finish it, as you're going to be needing a lot of houses. So a lot of these houses are kind of all over the place. They could have been used as part of this wall. And this is going to be a good engagement for the Keshiks. They can get right on top of those camel archers. And that's a great engagement for these camels. Gonna kill 4 or 5 Keshiks right away. So MBL's army is looking very good. And Nicov has a problem about production. He only has 1 castle production. Nicov is mining out the stone. It would have been very nice if Nicov had a 2nd castle for extra production. Or to help protect this town center. As you can see, Nicov bringing all of his units over to this town center. As he knows it's a weak point. And Nikov's still with the score lead. Currently at a... am I reading that correctly? Oh, no. Is that an 8 or a 6? That's an 8. Okay, Nicov currently at a 4 villager advantage, so not that big. Archer range being added by MBL, it's kind of interesting. I wonder what that's for. I really do. Oh, it's probably for, I guess for thumb ring for the camel archers. So MBL building another castle. It's a great position. It's also partially on top of the hill, which is great. And MBL mining out that gold. Gonna build a monastery there. Looking for those monks. That's a great castle position for Nicov. It's going to help secure these 2 wood lines in this gold. In the stone. But I still have an issue, I think, with this army composition. It's not going to do very well against heavy camels. What are these villagers doing? Are they going to build a town center? They're so exposed. Both players going up to the Imperial Age now. Not a good fight for MBL. What are you doing? MBL building his trademark outposts all over the map. So it looks like MBL might go for like a heavy camel archer composition. And Nicov is going to go for a Keshik cavalry archer composition. So which one would I favor? This is not a matchup I've seen before. I think the Berbers army composition is better. The camels should shred the Keshiks, and then camel archers. Camel archers are pretty equivalent to cavalry archers against other units, but they're very good against other cavalry archers, such as what Nicov is making. Good castle from MBL. We can see the battle lines are drawn. And overall, MBL with more map control, having control over this right side, and great vision on the left too. And that's so important when you're going to be trying to raid your opponent from every angle. Both players up to the Imperial Age. We'll see if we have some trebuchets coming out. I'd be interested to see if we see the unique tech for the Taters for the extra trebuchet range. That could certainly be very useful. It would be able to give the trebuchet extra cover if it was closer to the castle. Elite camel archer being made. We do see a unique upgrade. I think that's, is that it? Oh, I have to wait and see. No, it's silk armor. It's not, I think it's called something siegecraft. So silk armor is just extra armor for cavalry archers. It's not that special. But both players playing pretty defensively. These 2 rams are still alive from earlier on, looking for something to do. Fortunately, it looks like they're running into trouble. But what I don't like about Nikov's position, I love he's gotten 4 relics, but I don't like his lack of map control. Those camels are silent for some reason. So MBL just using that very mobile army to try to attack his opponent from different angles. Hasn't found anything yet, but what he is doing, again, is keeping Nicov in his base. Nicov, with a 15 villager advantage, we should be seeing pretty large armies coming up pretty soon. No trebuchet battle quite yet. Another monastery for that relic on the left. The only relic that MBL will have. And castle coming up in the same position. That's pretty interesting. I would have expected to see it in a slightly different position to help get more coverage. And this is so good from MBL. With that extra map control, now we'll be able to raid down this right side. But the castle will help out, luckily, with defense, but probably not enough. Oh, and this could be a good trap if MBL picks the right angle. Looks like these units are mostly going to get away. Might lose 1. No, ooh, are you going to fight this? These Keshiks are not elite. They have a measly 9+2 attack. This is a bad fight for Nicov. Ooh. Hussar now being done for Nicov. It's a good late game upgrade to save gold and good for raiding, but let's see how much damage Nikov's going to be able to do while raiding. It's not a good upfront unit in big battles. And they're going to go to a good spot and going to kill maybe only 3 villagers on the gold. But no siege so far this game. Goes to show you how aggressive a kind of map this is. How much mobility is favored. That's a lot of light cav. A lot of light cav for MBL. Both players making a line military. This 20 villager advantage is pretty nice for Nicov. I think MBL should probably make some extra villagers. Although, no, he's at 180 population, so I guess not. Small little raid for Nicov. Going just right around these castles. This is where walls would have been nice, at least walling a little bit with the houses. And I think we see the first trebuchet of the game for MBL. I'm really enjoying these army compositions. They're so nice to see so many different kinds of cavalry archers and so many different kinds of cavalry. You know, kinds of units that didn't exist in like Age of Conquerors. Hussar going to move over to the right. Here's that big light cavalry raid and quick walls from Nicov. I don't think he can complete all of this, though. He needs a gate there. He needs 1 more. Ooh. Oh, nice walls. Could even trap them in, but... oh, that's so close. Didn't get to trap them in, but that was a really good play from Nicov. Oh, but it's still open there. Still open there. Oh, I'm going to close it off. Really nice play from Nicov. It's still open there. They're finally in. But there's a good army chasing for Nicov. So these light cavs should die. And let's see how much damage this does. Oh, but look at all the siege. Look at all the siege attacking the castle for Nicov. And this is what I was kind of worried about. I think the overall army composition is stronger for MBL. Oh, man. One thing that would have made this army stronger for Nicov might have been Elite Keshik, maybe Steppe Lancer. But the Camel Archer has been such a asset for MBL. So good against cavalry. These cavalry are getting 25% extra bonus downhill, and they're still getting shredded. So just like that, Nikov's population dropped. He was at 140 villagers. Now he's at 120. Bigger army from MBL. He's got some bombard cannons firing from the back as well. And is probably thinking about another raid on the right side. And Nikov's going to build this castle. If he loses this hill, that's going to be the game. All of his production buildings will go down. And that'll be an open door to let more hussars into his base. So he's going to build that castle right there. That castle is the last stand. Nice hit with the bombard cannons. So another hussar raid going to come in. Let's see if Nicov is able to do quick walls this time. Oh, not going to Oh, it is going to happen. Wow. Oh my gosh. Very nice quick walls from Nicov. Now a few elite skirmishers being added in from Nicov. That's not a good sign. Remember, MBL has had the extra map control. He's had an extra stone, an extra gold here. Has had this gold over here. This gold here. As far as the left side, Nicov has not moved out to the left side. Doesn't have access to that extra gold or this one. So Nicov running very low on gold, having to switch into skirmishers. His army already wasn't that strong to begin with. But it looks like this is going to be a pretty good engagement for Nicov. Nicov needs to keep this momentum going and do something with it. It's a big university. It looks like a castle. Is this momentum going to keep up? I don't know if it will. There's no way you can get past these castles without any siege. And now Nikov's going to have to go back and regroup. For Nicov to stay in this game, he needs to be able to take these extra golds. And there's still quite a bit of gold there as well. And quite a bit of stone too. So a lot of resources for Nicov to be able to take to be able to stay in this game. But I think MBL, these extra resources are just going to be such a great asset to him and going to keep him very strong in this particular part of the game for the next 5 or 10 minutes. Going to mean he's going to be able to build more siege, going to build more camel archers. Nice thing for Nicov is he does have extra relics, but it'd be better to have those extra golds. And this is a nice catch. These camel archers are all going to go down. So far, pretty good game. Pretty good and even game. But remember what we said about this castle. This castle is Nikov's last resort. He can't afford to lose it because then he'll lose the hill. And there's trebuchets firing from literally every side. All the trebuchets do have siege engineers, so they're doing quite a bit of damage. And look at how many camel archers there are. There's so much army in this area from MBL. This castle is being attacked from literally 3 sides. And with MBL taking the hill with such a strong unit, I don't see how Nikov's going to be able to ever push up that hill. And that's going to be a good game. Good game. What an interesting game with so many different army compositions. I really enjoyed this one. I think Nicov could have done better by expanding out to the left side and then possibly raiding down this aisle. Would have been great, just like MBL tried to raid down this aisle. But nice defense from Nicov, getting a lot of quick walls up. MBL with a good aggressive strategy that more or less didn't really pay off, but kind of paid for itself. But very nice game. I hope you enjoyed it too. I'll see you in the next one.